So, schönen guten Morgen in die Runde. Heute bei unserem ersten Kenia-Special sozusagen. Und wir kriegen viele Informationen, aktuelle Informationen vom Tourismusboard, von den Masai Mara, Kenia Wildlife und auch Immigrations. Wir haben die Fragen bitte in Fragen und Antworten, Q&A, die wir dann ganz am Ende alle zusammen nochmal beantworten. Wenn es geht, in Englisch. Die Präsentation werden in Englisch sein, in Englisch die Fragen stellen. Wenn es nicht geht, dann in Deutsch, das macht nichts, dann werden wir das übersetzen, das ist kein Problem. Und ich übergebe dann an die Christina von Kleberg Group, die die Präsentation dann startet.
Ja, einen schönen guten Morgen. Herzlich willkommen auch von meiner Seite. Und wir haben heute verschiedene Vertreter aus Kenia mitgebracht. Kleber Group vertritt das Kenia Tourism Board auf dem deutschsprachigen Markt. Und mit mir hier zusammen im Webinar ist vom Kenia Tourism Board Magdalene Geruto, dem Marketing Officer für Europa. Und dann haben wir noch 3 Partner, die heute präsentieren werden. Das ist einmal Kenia Wildlife Service mit Alex. Er ist der Marketing Officer von Kenia Wildlife Service und leitet dort das Team, ist federführend bei der Förderung der Nationalparks und der Entwicklung von den Naturschutzinitiativen vor Ort. Dann haben wir für Masai Mara National Reserve Mali mit dabei heute. Sie leitet die Aktivitäten für Tourismus und Natur und ist verantwortlich für die Förderung und des Tourismuspotenzials und der ganzen Naturschutzinitiativen in der Region Narok. Dann als dritte Partner haben wir Kenia Airport Authority mit Grace. Grace ist eine zertifizierte ICAO-Trainerin, das heißt, sie kennt sich im Rahmen der Planung und des Managements im internationalen Flughafenbetrieb auch mit der Abfertigung aus. Und ich übergebe dann gleich an den ersten Partner. I'll hand over hold on, okay, I'll hand over the power to Alex now. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Christine. Much appreciated. Good morning, team, and welcome. My name is Alex. As Christine has said, I work with Kenya Wildlife Service. Kenya Wildlife Service, we manage national parks and national reserves on behalf of Kenyans as well as the world itself. So I have a brief presentation for about 20 minutes, and I will end with a video about Kenya Wildlife National Parks and National Reserves. Christine, I can't move the, oh, great. Here we go. So we shall cover just the outline of Kenya Wildlife National Parks and National Reserve, including the segmentation, so that we can understand the appeal of each of the national parks and national reserves. And then also we'll discuss some of the less known activities and national parks. Most of us know Masai Mara, which is a national reserve. It's not under Kenya Wildlife Service. We know maybe Amboseli, we know the Savos, but there are over 20 other national parks that are still attractive and have unique experiences, but they are not well known. So to start us off, this is the map of Kenya, sorry. This is a map of Kenya for management purposes. Basically, Kenya Wildlife Service control over 8% of the Kenyan land. So it's quite a huge area. So for management purposes, we have divided the country into 8 conservation areas. And in these 8 conservation areas, we find there are different national parks and national reserves. We have what we refer to as the Western Conservation Area, which has about 7 national parks and reserves. We have the Northern Conservation Area, which has 4 national parks and national reserves. The Northern conservation area is not that well exploited, so it still has a lot to offer. We have the mountain. This is where we find the Mount Kenya and Aberdeen National Park. We have Eastern, where we have the unique Meru National Park, and we'll look at Meru National Park in details. Then we have the Savo Conservation Area, which is well known maybe because of the Savo East and Savo West National Park. Then we have the Coast Conservation Area. Basically, this has the marine parks and marine reserves. Remember, Kenya, we have a huge coastline, and in the Indian Ocean, we have some marine parks and marine reserves, which are quite attractive as well. Then we have the Southern Conservation Area, and this is where you'll find Amboseli National Park is well known, as well as Nairobi National Park. And lastly, the 8th conservation area is what we refer to as Central Rift Conservation Area. And this is where we have parks such as Lake Nakuru National Park, which is quite famous, although in the recent year, the last 10 years, we have the swelling of the Lake Nakuru. And as a result, we have noted a lot of changes there in the park. Also, we have Hell's Gate, which is good for adventure tourism. I'm trying to move, sorry. So in summary, these are the protected areas that we have in Kenya. Kenya is quite diverse because all the way from the coast, that is 0 degrees above the sea level, up to about 5,000 meters above the sea level. You'll find that we have a quite diversity of the attractions, environments, and different experiences. So we have 22 national parks, and the national parks, all the national parks are managed by Kenya Wildlife Service. Then we have national reserves. The national reserves, most of them are not managed by Kenya Wildlife Service. They are under the county government. But the main difference between a national park and national reserve is that in a national park, there is no other human activity apart from tourism. So for example, in Nairobi National Park or in Tsavo East National Park, the only activity that you'll find there is tourism related. But in national reserves, we have limited and controlled human activity apart from tourism. For example, when we talk of the reserves, maybe Samburu, we have a Masai Mara person here, maybe she'll talk about it. You find there is limited and controlled other human activities. Then we have 4 national marine parks. We have 6 national marine reserves. In the marine park, you'll find that a marine park is surrounded by a marine reserve. Now, the same case as in national reserve and national parks. In the marine park, also you'll find there is other limited human activity, like maybe skiing. But you find in the national park itself, national marine reserve, the marine park, sorry, the only activity you find there is tourism related. But in the marine reserves, you find there is other limited and controlled human activities. And then we have 4 sanctuaries. Sanctuaries, they are more like, I don't want to equate them to zoos in Europe, but they are not national park per se, but they are like rehabilitation centers for animals. Maybe should have been wounded. Some of them are sick. So we bring them to the sanctuary so that they can recover. If possible, we release them back to the wild, but if it is possible, because sometimes they become habituated, they are used to being fed, they remain in the sanctuary. And the sanctuaries, we usually use them for what we refer to as edutainment. They are quite famous for the kids, that is school children, because that is where they come and learn and interact with the animals. So that is a synopsis of the protected areas that we have in Kenya. Next slide. So these are the major experiences we can have in KWS National Parks and National Reserve. The first one, I believe, is quite famous, wildlife viewing and birding. In Kenya, we have almost 1,200 bird species that have been recorded. And it is a good country for bird watching. Those who are looking for areas where they can have bird watching, it's possible to do it in Kenya. We have over almost 70 what we used to refer to as IB, important bird areas, although these days we are referring to them as key protected or key biodiversity areas, because apart from birds, we still have other biodiversity that we need. So Kenya is very rich in terms of bird watching, and we have about 10 endemic bird species that are only found in Kenya. And you'll find that most of the national parks and national reserves are in fact key biodiversity areas. Then we have what we refer to as research and conservation. Kenya Wildlife Service basically is concerned or is involved in some animal related or research related experiences such as translocation. So you find sometimes we conduct translocation, we conduct species counts. Like now we have launched, I think today, in fact, we are launching the nationwide animal sensors. So you find that also tourists can participate in such. We have ear noshing, we have collaring of different animals, even tracking of animals. So it is still possible to participate or to experience that in our national parks and national reserves. Then we have adventure tourism, which will include walking, hiking, gorge exploration, cave exploration, basically getting out of your vehicle or the tour van and indulging in nature or there, basically interacting properly with the nature. Then we have filming and photography. In all the national parks and national reserves, it's possible to do filming. We have famous films that have been shot in Kenya, and also photography is quite big, and you'll find that in most of the national parks, it's possible to do photography, and in fact, we have tour operators who specialize in such type of tours. Then we have edutainment. This is more of educating the participant. So we have edutainment, and these usually we target the schools. We talk of volunteerism. So if there is anyone who is dealing with volunteerism, it's possible to have them come to the Kenya Wildlife National Parks and National Reserve, whereby we allow them to volunteer for about 3 months. And during that time, they learn a lot, interact with animals, know more about how to take care of the animals and all that. So we also have that as an experience. And then also we have what we refer to as animal adoption. This is like more of donation, yeah. It's contributing now to conservation. And this can happen especially in the sanctuaries. So you'll come, you can name the animals, and they are named after you. You are informed about how they are progressing. And of course, for you to do that, you'll have to give a little donation toward that. And then lastly, we have cultural tourism. You'll find that in most of the national parks, we empower the communities that live near the national parks. And as a result, we have what we refer to as cultural centers. So it is possible to combine game viewing, birding, cultural tourism. You can have all these experiences within Kenya Wildlife Service national parks and national reserves. So this is a map of Kenya, basically showing where we have the protected areas. The ones that are in green, they are the national parks and national reserve. The one that is quite detailed green, you can see that they are well distributed within the country. In fact, we say that Kenya, we talk of the county government. I think it's only one county that doesn't have a protected area. So the diversity is quite huge, and you can see all the way from Indian Ocean to the mountain, to the northern part of Kenya, where we have the desert. So it is possible to tour the entire country, and in each of these regions, you'll find a protected area. The ones that are in yellow, they are the national reserves, yeah, and you can find as well, they are quite a number. And here is the summary of some of the activities you can have within the national parks and national reserves, this is the summary of the segmentation of the Kenya Wildlife National Parks and National Reserve. Basically, we use this to help us understand. For example, there are some of the national parks that are not meant for game drives. So we want also to encourage you to basically educate the participants so that they can know when you're packaging these national parks and national reserves, there are those which are perfect for game drive, there are others which are for trekking, for walking, there are others which are maybe for adventure. So you have what we refer to as the premium national parks and national reserve. Of course, this is where you'll find Akina Masai Mara, you'll find Masai Mara, you'll find Amboseli, and you'll find Lake Nakuru National Park. Then we have the wilderness. These are quite huge national parks and national reserves, which are over different experiences, ranging from adventure to wildlife viewing. And here we are talking about Savo National Park, Savo East, Savo West National Park, Meru National Park, and other parks. Then we have the urban parks. For these urban parks, they are the ones that are close to the urban center. And the one that we talk most is Nairobi National Park, which is a unique park. We'll look at it in detail. And it is just less than 10 minutes drive from the capital city, that is Nairobi. Then we have the mountain parks. These are Mount Kenya National Parks. And then we have another one we refer to as Mount Elgon National Park. And these are excellent for those people who like mountaineering. People can believe that in Kenya, where we have along the equator, it is possible even to have snow or to have glacier in Mount Kenya. Then we have what we refer to as scenic and special interest park. You'll find that for the scenic and special interest park, they are not packaged basically for game viewing or for animals, but for the sceneries that you get there, the special interest or the niche activities you can do, such as cave exploration, maybe boating and all that. Then we have the marine park. They are at the Indian Ocean, and then the last three we have what we have referred to as the entertainment centers, and these are the sanctuaries. And you'll find most of the time they are near the urban centers there, because that is where also most of the market or the people who are interested in that is where the market is basically. That is about park categorization. Then we have the activities or the experiences you can get in our national parks. For for a long time, I think we have packaged Kenya only for game viewing or game watching, but there is more we can do in the national parks and national reserves rather than game drives. We have bird watching, we have talked about it, of 1,158 species recorded in Kenya. We have boating in the rates and the rivers we have. It is possible to do bush conferences, bush dinners, basically interact with the bush when you are in the national parks and national reserves. Bush weddings, very unique experience that you can have in Kenya. Imagine the animals being basically witnessing as people exchange the rings and all that. Yeah, camping, and you'll find that in camping we have the luxury camping, the basic camping, the affordable camping, all of these, cave exploration in some of the national parks. For those who like to do more of adventure, it's possible to do cycling in some of the national parks and national reserves. Imagine cycling, and as you're cycling, maybe some giraffes, some zebras, as close as possible. Of course, you have to stay within the trail or the cycling trail, but it's possible to do this in some of the national parks. Then we have what we refer to as deep sea diving, or basically marine related activities in the marine park. It includes scuba diving, skiing, water sports, you can do that. Then we have hiking, mountaineering, rock climbing, as well as trekking, you can do in most of the national parks and national reserves. Horse riding, imagine going for a game drive on a horseback. So it is possible to do this. Game viewing, we have talked about it, this is quite famous. So these are some of, even swimming with a dolphin in one of the national parks, which is a signature experience. We refer to it as Kisite Mpunguti. You can literally swim with a dolphin in the wild. They are not in circles, but they are in the wild, and they will swim. You will swim basically in the same area where the dolphins are. You can do team building in national parks and national reserve. And to encourage these conferences in national parks, in fact, we give discounts up to a 30% discount for those who are doing team building as well as conferences within our national parks and national reserve. So these are some of the unique activities or unique experiences we can have within the national parks and national reserves. So let's look at some of these national parks and national reserves. We have one which is less known. It's known as Ruma National Park. It is in the Homa Bay County. In fact, for those who are going to Masai Mara, and maybe you're going from Nakuru or from the western country, side of the country, it's possible to pass through Ruma National Park. It's one of the most attractive national parks, but it is less known. It is home to one of the world's rarest antelope, known as Loan antelope. You can find it on our right side here. And currently, there are less than 20 Loan antelope in Kenya. So it is critically endangered. But if you want to see them, you can find them in Ruma National Park. Then we have the Nubian, or what we refer to as Rothschild giraffes. You also find them here. You can also find them in Lake Nakuru, and also they are quite endangered. We have less than 800 of them in Kenya, according to the census that was carried out in 2020. Then we have in this national park, Ruma National Park, we have what we refer to as the white and black rhinos. Very unique, and you can see, especially the white rhinos, you can easily find them or easily locate them. And you'll find that the rhinos, both the black and white rhinos, they are endangered. And in Kenya, each of these species, we have less than 900. So these are some of the unique attractions that you can find in Ruma National Park. And also we have an antelope, which is unique. You can find it in Ruma as well as in Masai Mara. It's known as Olbi antelope. So Ruma is one of the less known parks, but it has a lot to offer. And here we also empower the people living near the near the park. We'll talk about it as we talk about the conservation initiative that we have in most of the national parks. We have Mount Elgon. I talked about it as one of the areas or one of the park where we have mountaineering. It's a unique park as well, and in this Mount Elgon, it borders. It is between the boundary. It is in fact in the boundary of Kenya and Uganda. We'll find that we have one peak in Kenya, which is known as Koitobos Peak, and it's quite scenic. And then we have another peak in Uganda, which is known as Wagagai. Mount Elgon National Park is famous for trekking, cave exploration. We have caves that are very unique. In fact, you can see the left side bottom, we have elephants, which are going into one of the caves. So this is the only known cave in the world that is visited by the elephants. You can imagine the size of the elephant, but they are in a position to go inside the cave and do what is known as salt licking. So they know that these caves, they have unique minerals. So they go there in the evening to mine or to reap these salts. And it is said that sometimes they are led, it is the female who will lead the male so that at least they can have the energy and they can basically be strong enough. Yeah. Then we have unique, in some of these caves, you'll find that we have waterfalls, the entry of the cave. So very unique experiences. Also in this national park, we have what we refer to as elephant maternity. There is a place where the elephants go each year to give birth. It's a nice story, a very good conservation story. Some of them covering more than 100 kilometers, yeah, to come and give birth to that specific area. So this is a unique park as well. For a long time, I think there was a time there was a misconception that it was not safe, but it is safe. It is 100% safe, and we have not had any incidents of attack. Then we have Mount Kenya National Park, a very unique national park for those who like trekking, hiking, mountaineering, learning more about nature. It is a unique park with over 40 rigs and towns within the mountain or within the national parks. And in this park, we have snow, we have glacier. So it is very unique. And then you'll notice that it is a dual hemisphere area. So one part is on the northern hemisphere and another one is on the southern hemisphere. Very unique, and we have 3 climbing routes, and they are quite unique. It takes a minimum of 3 days to hike to one of the peak known as Lenana Peak, and it can take between 3 and 5 days or 6 days, depending on the route you take. But it's very unique and very scenic. Yeah, in this park, that is on the left side hand, we have the board showing that you are now crossing the equator. Imagine, one time when you are climbing Mount Kenya, you will be astride the equator. So one of your leg maybe will be on the southern hemisphere and the other on the northern hemisphere. Very unique experience, and there you can experience the choreography. Yeah. Then we have, it's possible to do trout fishing in Mount Kenya as well as in another park we refer to as Aberdare National Park. Very unique experience. Trout fish, I believe you are familiar with it because it's a type of fish that is found in those quite cool and clear waters, and you can do the fishing in some of the lakes within and some of the rivers within Mount Kenya as well as Aberdare National Park. And in these parks, to help people climb and for safety, we have what we refer to as Via Ferrata, and at about 4,905 meters above sea level, this Via Ferrata known as Olonana, it is the highest, it is said to be the highest Via Ferrata in the world. So very unique experiences that we can have in Mount Kenya National Park. And Mount Kenya and Aberdare National Park, they play a very big role in Kenya because basically they are the one that provide most of the water that we have in Kenya. They are water towers. Yeah, Aberdare National Park, very unique park as well. It's unique in its own way, with a lot of attractions. We have very unique waterfalls, very good waterfalls. It's good for scenic beauty and also as well as for hiking and trekking. And also in this park, we have what we refer to as an antelope known as bongo. You can see it on the left hand side bottom. very unique and very. It's not. It is endangered. In fact, it's said to be layer and shy antelope, and we have less than 150 of them in Kenya. So it's a unique place where you can be, and also you can do night viewing in some of the lodges found within within this national park. And we have a lot of history in Aberdare National Park. Then coming closer to Nairobi, we have what we refer to as the Nairobi National Park. It's the only wildlife capital that we have in the world. Yeah, you can see this is inside. This is in fact a recent. This is in fact a recent image of within Nairobi National Park. Yeah, we have very good signages, and the animals are free. They are roaming in the wild, and at the background we can see the skyscraper of Nairobi. Nairobi National Park is unique. We have the tree climbing lions. So if you want to see them in Kenya, you can come to Nairobi National Park. We have quite a number of picnic sites where you are free to get out of your vehicle, go explore there and explore that area. We have nice benches. You can have activities within those areas. Then, as we said, Kenya is known for bird watching. We have a lot of birds. In fact, Nairobi National Park, we have recorded about 520 different bird species, both water birds as well as the other birds. And then it is a very good, in fact, we say Nairobi National Park it's one of the best success story in rhino conservation. In this park, we have both the black and the white rhino, and it is a success story because some of the rhinos, in fact, they are monitored for 24 hours in a day. So we have people or rangers who are specifically looking and monitoring these rhinos. And then it's possible to do team building activities with the national park, which is Nairobi National Park. It is just less than 20 minutes drive from the center. Then we have the Savos. We have the Savo East and Savo West National Park. They are huge parks. In fact, we say that the combination of Savo is bigger than Israel as a country at more than 22,000 square kilometers. And this is where we have the red elephants, very unique attractions. We can see the elephant there. They are quite huge. They are the Savannah elephant. Then we have the man-eaters of Savo. For those who like history, I believe you have heard of the man-eaters of Savo. The man-eating lions in Savo, which killed more than 30 construction workers during the construction of the Mombasa-Nairobi railway line. We have sites which are quite interesting. I believe they are quite interesting, especially for the German market, the World War site. You remember during the World War site, we had the East Africa British Protectorate, and on the other side, we had the German region known as Tanganyika. And there is a lot of sites that are found within this national park, which has a lot of history. And some of them, in fact, are German sites. We look at them. Then we have a lot of sceneries, especially on Savo West National Park. We have Mzima Spring and quite a number of other attractions. Yeah, we have the wild dogs. You can see them. You can easily spot the wild dog in Savo East National Park. In Kenya, we have less than 900 wild dogs. They are endangered, and more than 100 of them are found in Savo Conservation Area. So this is one of the areas where you can easily find the wild dogs. Then we have a unique critically endangered antelope known as Irola. It is critically endangered because they are only found in Kenya and Somalia, and the remaining population is less than 500. Yeah, so this is one of the areas where you can find this attraction of this attraction. This is what I was talking about, the World War side. You can see German attacks in British East Africa, 1914 to 1916, when we had the World War side. We can see on one side, on the lower side, we have the German controlled area, and then we have the British controlled area. So there is a lot of sites within this Savo East and Savo West, and basically what we refer to as Taita Taveta region. And these are some of the examples of some of the sites that are still remaining. More than 100 years, but they are still standing. And in fact, some of them are German sites. For example, this baobab tree, it's a huge baobab tree. And it was used by a German lady who was revenging for the killing of her husband. So it has a lot of history. It is said that she used to live in this tree. You can see there is a hole. She had made, in fact, some crabbing raiders go up to the hole within the tree, and from there she could shoot the soldiers who were passing by. And before they discovered what's happening, it is said that more than 100 British soldiers were killed by this raid. So there is a lot of history that you can get to within the Tsavo conservation area. We are coming to the end. Then we have what we refer to as Meru National Park. It's a complete wilderness. The unique thing with Meru National Park, I know we are familiar with the Big Five. You'll get both the Big Five as well as what we refer to as the Unique Five. Unique Five, they are unique animals that we find only on the north of Equator. It is rare to find them on the southern side of the Equator, but you mostly find them on the north of Equator, including this type of giraffe that we not giraffe but zebra, sorry, that we refer to as green zebra. Even these giraffes that we have here, we refer to as the native giraffe. You'll find them on the northern side of the equator or of the hemisphere. So Meru National Park is complete wilderness, very unique. It is not populated, meaning that you'll have unique experiences because it's not crowded, and it is very accessible. Then lastly, we have the marine parks and marine reserves, very unique. For a long time, we have been talking about the big fives, but these days we talk about even the big seven, because we have included the migration of the whales, yeah? And this happened in November in most of these marine parks and marine reserves. Yeah, you can swim with the dolphins. So even in the marine park, there is a lot that happened. There is a lot of unique experiences that you can get in the marine parks and marine reserves. Lastly, which are the conservation initiatives that we do? We do a lot of conservation initiative, and also we encourage visitors to come. For example, we have what we refer to conservation education. We encourage, in fact, we have noted that we can easily shift the conservation behaviors and attitude and even perception when we reach the young people. So we have what we refer to as conservation education, and we do them in-house at Kenya Wildlife Service National Parks and National Reserve, whereby you find that most of the national parks, they have what we refer to as education centers. When the visitors come, both citizen and non-resident, they get the chance to be trained or to be taken through the conservation initiative that we are carrying out. And also we have the outreach. This is where we go to the schools, like in the images that we have, and basically we impact on these children. We tell them more about conservation, changing behaviors, and also we do what we refer to as corporate, social corporate responsibility. Sometimes we construct water tanks, we enhance the roads within those areas. So we give back to the communities. And also we give unique materials such as interesting facts about elephants. And you know, these people, the indigenous group, they have a lot of indigenous knowledge that can be used even in conservation. So we do conservation education. Then also we empower the communities in collaboration with NGOs and other like-minded partners in something like beekeeping and sunflower farming, especially in areas where we have elephants. You know that elephants fear, or they fear the bees. So we have noted that when the farmers they have the hives and we have the bees, they protect the areas. And these are true stories and they are successful stories. And you can see on one of the image on the top right side, we have the beehives, and you can see the crops are doing well. But if we didn't have these fences, you'll find that maybe most likely these plants would have been attacked by the wild animals. And to combine this, we also partnered with some of the oil-making companies in Kenya, and they supply sunflower seeds to these farmers, like in the parks that we talked about, the Ruma National Park in western part of Kenya. So they give them the seed, so they plant the sunflowers. They also give them the hives, so the bees will help in pollination of the sunflowers, and at the end of the day, we'll have the end product, which is the honey that will be sold to the market. And these days, honey is quite famous in Kenya. And also the sunflower seeds will be now sold, or they will be bought by the oil making company so that they can now make the sunflower oil. So these are some of the initiatives that we are carrying. We are using, or we are empowering the community. Then lastly, we have what we refer to as Lion Light. I think maybe some of us are aware of this. And this is a good initiative that basically is helping to control the human-wildlife conflict in some of these areas, especially in the Nairobi National Park and other areas where we have not elephant, but lion and other predators attacking the livestock. So you'll find that these lights, these lion lights, they bring and they are installed in specific areas near where we have the cow enclosures or the cattle enclosures, and they bring during the night. And when they do that, the animals or the predator like lion, like the leopard, like the hyenas, they think there is someone who is monitoring. And we have noted that through such initiative, the attack on Kenyans or the communities living around the national parks and national reserve livestock has reduced tremendously. So these are some of the initiatives. We have quite a number of initiatives like tree planting, litter correction and all that. And these are some of the initiatives as well that the visitors can participate in. Lastly, yeah, we have a summary of the Kenya Wildlife Service, and maybe this video that we learn for about 4 minutes, we can have a summary.
Yes, in regards to the video, we will play it at the end. Sorry, everyone, but we need to give the time now to Marley, and we will play it at the end, if that's okay for you, Alex.
Thank you. That's okay. That's okay, Christine.
Perfect.
Thank you so much. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let me give, oh, hold on. Where is my, oh, the cursor goes off. Sorry, I just need to get.
I'm logged in as Magdalene, but here I am.
Yes. So let me see which Magdalene you are. Can you move it, or is that? No, okay, then it's a different Magdalene. Let's see if it works now for you. It's either clicking or scrolling. Does it work? Is that you? Yep, perfect. Amazing. Okay, and you're muted. And let me quickly mute myself. Hold on, I just need to mute myself.
Thank you, SA and KTB for organizing this. My name is Marley Sianto, Assistant Director, Tourism and Wildlife. So much has been said by Alex that maybe can correlate with ours, but just to give a brief maybe background, let me try and click. Oh, is that me? I think I'm having a okay. So just to give a brief of Narok, Kenya has about 47 counties. And of those counties, Masai Mara is based in Narok County, which is on the southern side of Kenya. And it borders, the Tanzania side. So we are the ones who manage Masai Mara National Reserve. And the rest of the parks, of course, are under Kenya Wildlife Service, as Alex has mentioned. So Narok is about 17,000 square kilometers and Masai Mara is about 10 square kilometers with the conservancies surrounding it. So that's the location of Masai Mara at the border of Kenya and Tanzania. So it was established in 1961. And the reason it's called Masai Mara is because of the people. The land actually belongs to the Masai people, and the reason now the county runs it is because it's the county has been given the land as a trustee to manage that for the community owners. So there was the county council before, which was divided into two. There was the Narok County Council and Transmara County Council. where the Mara Triangle now hails. It was a different management, but since 2010, under the Constitution of Kenya, we've now in one territory as Narok County. So the Triangle and the Reserve are now one. And we have 24 surrounding community conservancies run under Masai Mara Wildlife Conservancies Association. So that doubles the size of Masai Mara and the conservation area to about 3,000 square kilometers at the moment. But they're managed differently and independently. So we're famously known as a safari destination in Africa. We call it the crown jewel of Africa, as the location really favors a huge biodiversity in the whole of East Africa. We are known for the wild beast migration that moves from Tanzania into Kenya, and we've been recognized as one of the 7 new wonders of the world, of the natural world. And we also have the Big Five and about over 500 bird species. As Alex had mentioned, that we have over 1,000 bird species in Kenya, and 500 of them you can find them in the Masai Mara. And then we have one of the most indigenous population of the black rhino. So we haven't introduced any new species or just a natural population of it. And I think maybe most people know Masai Mara from the big documentaries that used to be on the BBC by Jonathan Scott and the team. That's what made us a bit famous that time. So our mandate is to just, as Narok County government, we run the entire Narok County. And then we have a Department of Tourism and Wildlife, where now we run things that matter with the tourism and wildlife on behalf of the community. So our vision is to be a global premier tourist destination and a lead wildlife habitat. So we have a couple of policies that guide us from the national government, being the National Tourism Strategy, the Wildlife Acts, the land use systems, that have guided us into creating policies that guide how we run the reserve. So in the Narok County, we did not have a management plan for the Masai Mara for over 40 years. The previous one lapsed. So we were struggling with getting one due to political issues. But at the moment, since 2022, we've had past three management plans. We have the Greater Ecosystem Management Plan, which is the entire conservancies and the reserve. Then we have a Masai Mara Management Plan, and the Narok County Spatial Plan that guides on the developments within Narok County. I'll delve into it. So these are the policies. So we have the management plan, Greater Mara Ecosystem, physical land use plan. And recently, last year in August, the president helped us launch a One Mara brand marketing strategy. This is very key for us because we've seen a challenge or a big gap in the way that we market Mara. So you find the conservancies will market their own side, and the reserve also markets itself. So we thought to just unify the entire brand so that we sell Mara, because we know that tourists or travelers who come to Mara, they don't know if they were in the conservancy or the reserve, they just know that they were in the Mara. And that's basically why we have that policy developed. So some of the programs, I'll just probably mention them on top, just to run briefly onto them. The Greater Mara Ecosystem Management Plan has 5 programs, which include the Natural Resource Conservation and Management Program. This now deals, of course, with how to manage the park itself with its natural resource. There's the Tourism Development and Management Program. And remember, this also involves the community around the reserve. This is now where the community comes in. Then there's the third one is Community Livelihood Program, Institutional Collaboration and Governance Program, Research and Knowledge. This plan particularly is owned by Narok County, the conservancies. There's, I think, a couple of research partners as well who own this plan, because it's more of the ecosystem, inclusive of the protected area and unprotected area, and how to expand to those areas. So this plan is basically trying to also increase the conservation area around, because we noticed most of the wildlife, as Alex has mentioned, that they are mostly in unprotected areas as well. So this plan helps to expand into that and looking into areas like Mau Forest, Suswa, and Loita Forest. Then there's the Masai Mara Management Plan. We have the Ecological Management Program. This mostly deals with the environment and issues to do with ecology. Then the second one is the Tourism Management Program, which I think is mostly where we would delve into, because most of the plans that we are doing currently that affect everyone, including raising park fees, changing, asking for, private vehicles not to enter the park, issues to deal with, overcrowding around wildlife areas or crowding areas, or just managing the tourist experience, making sure that we are looking out for every person coming into the Mara. Then there's the community outreach and partnership program. And then there's the protected areas operational program. We think it's very important to onboard the community, especially in the management, because this is their land. If they don't have a buy-in to it, it's very hard for them to be part of it. And the difference between Mara and other reserve, maybe other parks, is we have to work with the community. Most parks just have to do with management of their parks and wildlife. But for us, we have a third aspect, which is working with the community directly. So I'll just go into the key highlights of the Masai Mara. It's an iconic safari destination. We've been known for many. It's a safari destination, highly, highly recommended. We offer aerial views of African plains and wildlife by hot air balloons. That's one of the services that you can enjoy experiences. Jeep safaris for encounters with close encounters with wildlife. And the landscape, we have a rolling savanna. So it makes it one of the top photography and film destinations because of how the landscape is set up. And being a savanna, it's very easy to see from one corner to the other. And that's what makes Mara very beautiful. Also, you can get to experience amazing sunset and sunrise due to this landscape. And we have the highest concentration of wildlife animals globally. And over 40% of Africa's larger mammals reside in Masai Mara. We have a rich ecosystem. So we have the Masai Mara, of course, as we mentioned, and the reserves and the conservancies around. And we're expanding also to the area. We're now moving into the east, now going into Loita. So there's a lot of coexistence between the community and wildlife. We're also known for the migration, as I had mentioned earlier, which happens between now mid-July to October. It keeps changing sometimes. So, but you can see signs of it from this month that they might come. Then we have big cat sightings. That's the lions, the leopards, and cheetahs. Majorly, we have other partners as well who help us with research around these specific species. We have a Mara predator conservation program and Mara elephant now for the elephants. But for these predators, we have a study with them. And we're also trying to see also how to do transboundary with, I think, WWF and SOCNOT. Those are other things that, these are areas that now you can view. And then there's the cultural area now. The reason why Masai Mara is called Mara, Mara is it means dotted in the Masai language. So when you fly over the Mara, because of the savanna and the way the shrubs are set up, it looks like a dotted area. So being a dotted area, Mara means the dotted, so Masai Mara. And it's majorly grassland. So I mentioned something about the history and the climate, being that we have two rainy seasons, April and May, and November and December, which are short rains. We actually consider that the green season. It's actually really an amazing time to actually come and visit. Not only the migration season, it's an all-year-round destination. Let me go. I think I got a question, maybe majority of the interest of people, I picked this map online just to show you where we recently had the effects of the flood. And according to the news, maybe it might look like the entire park has drowned, but it's actually not true. So for this map, if you see where number 61 is here, and all the way into Talek Gate, this is the Talek River. This is now where the flooding happened, majority of it where the camps were based. And then now this is the Mara River. It also got high volumes of water, but it went with one bridge. The impact of it was a bridge that went, but here now a majority of the camps were affected. So this is about 15% of the entire park. About 24 camps were affected by the floods. We did rescue missions immediately, and glad to report that there were no casualties. But of course, there was a lot of damage in the properties around that area. So some camps, I think one camp in particular by the name Ishara will not be opening until next year. But majority of the other camps are already rebuilding, and they'll be ready by July. We'll have about 80% of them open. So out of the 24, a guarantee one is out, but the rest are rebuilding at a different location. So just to report on that. And as we talked about the Mara Triangle, this is the triangle is called the Triangle due because of this river, and it forms this triangle. But I just wanted to show you the map so that you can see the extent of where the flooding happened. And majorly, it was this Talek River and that area. So majority of the camps are already getting back up. Now, on the issue of the Masai Mara park fees, we populate our strategy or our works guided by the National Tourism Strategy of Kenya, and the strategy between 2021 and 2025 advised a lot on things to do with tourism, especially Masai Mara and KWS as well. So one of the recommendations was to increase the park fees. And these are the four main objectives that they had highlighted, which is to reroute tourists from overcrowded premium parks to high potential parks. Alex mentioned about amazing other parks, like, for example, Ruma, there's the Mount Kenya, and many other parks around Kenya. And we're thinking, how do we get other people to, to visit that? So the reason we have many people crowding Masai Mara and having a general low experience for the visitor is due to, the number of people who come and the specific number of times. So the strategy advises that we do a 20 to 40% higher increase to strengthen our brand, recover and reduce overcrowding in premium parks that are selected. Then we secure resources for, now that's KWS for conservation efforts, and maintain affordability for other parks for citizens to encourage their participation. Now, I'm just giving you an overview. Now, this is the recommendation. You see the top 3 parks, that's Masai Mara, Amboseli, and Nairobi, are considered to be premium parks as according to the Ministry of Tourism. So the recommendation was actually to go from this $70 to $150, but we've been doing $80. So it's the recommendation was $150 to $400 during high season. And the deliberation with the stakeholders was that this is a bit too high, $400. So we settled on $100 for the green season and $200 for high season. That's now for non-resident. And as recommended also, KWS was also supposed to increase their park fees. And apart from just that, this is now a slide I think I'll share just for you to have. These are the revised rates. The things that have changed, maybe apart from the raising of the fees, is before we used to charge younger kids who are maybe above 3, but now we're not charging children below 9. And then they have a subsidized fee. It's now half of that. But if you have any more questions, I think I'll address them. And then we'll have a small video at the end. I think I wanted to also mention some of the conservation initiatives that we have in the park, because we deal not only with tourism, but with wildlife. And there's a slogan that goes, I think, under KWS that mentioned that tourism depends on wildlife, but wildlife does not depend on tourism. So there's a delicate balance in making sure that you conserve wildlife and also give a great experience to the guests, and also satisfy the community living around protected areas. So we do have a consolation scheme for the community around the park. that live around the park because we have a lot of human-wildlife conflict. All wildlife are under KWS. So KWS does a compensation fee, but we also set aside a percentage of the fee from the park collection to go to the community in case of such. So we have a consolation scheme that compensates the community. And we've just developed a narrow county conservancies bill where we'll have the fund in the fund expansion of conservancies and also look after the welfare of the community as well. And these are the things that we're trying to do. And in wildlife, we mentioned that we're also doing ear notching just to make sure that we still maintain, especially for rhino populations. We just recently did this year in collaboration with KWS. We did an ear notching exercise, and today I was just at the Wildlife Census launch, which I just walked out of. We have launched it here in Narok County. It begins in Masai Mara, where we do the KWS and WRTI, which is the research arm of the ministry that does wildlife research, is conducting the wildlife census at the moment. And the census will actually inform us about how we keep doing our conservation efforts. And one of the other things that it's going to benefit us, because we have not only other organizations that actually do research and inform us. That's how now we are going to enact into this. And we have a 3-year operational plan for the Masai Mara plan. And majority of it, we have enacted about now. The 1 year into the operational plan, we've already done 23% of the entire operational plan, including now raising the park fees. We're now going to, we had a recent ban on private vehicles, but we're coming up with a framework that will guide which private vehicles will access the park, including, maybe people doing research, maybe special vehicles for film and recording. So all those issues are going to sort of be addressed. And then we have an Earth Ranger station that just has been finally done. I think we're the only government agency at the moment to have that Earth Ranger facility. The Earth Ranger facility houses the software where we monitor wildlife. And apart from just monitoring wildlife, we also use it for tourism management as well. So most of the cars that now will come, because one of the biggest challenge has been overcrowding around specific wildlife, especially lions or big cats and cheetah, which is a big threat to cheetah populations. And we have had a drop in the cheetah population. Therefore, we'll have this software run and help us in monitoring every single tourist vehicle coming into the park. We'll have a tracker that will go track everywhere you're going. And then now to observe the rules, because it's been a tough thing to enforce, the 5 vehicles per wild animal. So now with the software now and using technology to help us with conservation, that will really help us in going around. And we've also added a couple of facilities like washroom areas in specific areas in the park to just to add up on the experience for the traveler. We are now doing also other picnic areas, and you will notice a couple of changes. And we had worked on 200 kilometers recarpeting of the Mara roads, but recently since the flood, we've had to redo that because the flood really damaged a lot of areas. Yes, so yes, I think we'll play the video immediately after. But I just wanted to touch on a few things that I feel like many people might want to ask, but some of the main things I think I've touched. But if you have any questions, I'll address maybe after. We'll play the video immediately after. I think I'm done with this. Yes.
Maybe we can skip this video as well, because we are, more or less out of our timing, and we have still one more presenter. So maybe we can skip the video and talk about immigration first.
So apologies. Grace, let me quickly give you the power over to Kenya Airport Authority. Grace, are you ready? Hello?
Hello, yeah, I am ready. Let me put on my video on. Oh, I am unable to put my video on. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I think, I don't know whether it's me. I can see two cursors. So I don't know whether it is yours which is making my presentation move forward, because maybe you can return it to the
Let me
the
click.
first.
Shall I click for you then?
Yeah, the first one, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. And we are grateful for this opportunity to talk about Kenya Airports Authority. My name is Grace Kimani, and ASA and Kenya Tourism Board, thank you very much for creating this awareness. Now, mine will be very short. Actually, I think I have less than 5 slides, so mine will be very short. Kenya Airports Authority is a government parastatal that manage all airports, airstrips in Kenya, and provide safe and secure and efficiency airport services that ensure connectivity within the region and also the world at large. With Kenya Airport Authority, we manage many airports. We have about 38 airports. Out of the 38, we have 5 which are international. The international airports that we have in Kenya is Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is one of them, which is the hub. That is the airport that is on the screen right now. We have Eldoret Airport. This one deals with more with cargo, but also we have the passenger bit. We also have Kisumu International Airport, Moi International Airport. Moi International Airport is of interest because it is a tourist destination. And we have Wilson International Airport, which is a gateway to Masai Mara. Actually, all the flights that go to Masai Mara, they go through Wilson International Airport. Now, we have over 300 airstrips in Kenya, and all of them we manage them. And meaning that in all the counties, you will find there's connectivity and there are means of transport, air transport. So for connectivity and efficiency, uh, uh, throughout Kenya, we are covered. Now, for Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, as you can see, it is circular, and we have 5 terminals. We have Terminal 1A. Terminal 1A is departing and arriving terminal, and some of the major airlines that operate in Terminal 1A. Maybe I can just mention a few, maybe of your concern. We have Lufthansa, we have KLM, we have Kenya Airways. Kenya Airways is already connecting 35 routes. Actually, this morning we were launching a new route for Kenya Airways. So Kenya Airways is one of our major, and it is our pride of Africa. It is the major airline in Kenya, and it connects to the 45 routes. We also have other airlines like Air France. We have China Southern, Saudi Arabian Airlines, just to mention a few. We also have Terminal 1B. Terminal 1B also is a departing terminal where you will find flights like Emirates and also other some regional airlines like Uganda Airlines, Air Tanzania, Air India, just to mention a few. We also have a T1C, Terminal 1C, which is also an international departures, where we'll have Turkish Airlines, Egypt Air, Rwanda Air, Air Arabia, Qatar Airways. So we have all these just to decongest the airport. So they are divided into terminals. We have our domestic terminal, which is Terminal 1D. And in the domestic terminal, this is the terminal that connects all the international passengers who arrive and they want to travel or to go to destinations within the country. For instance, now if you want to go to Masai Mara and you have arrived through Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, you will find yourself getting to the domestic terminal, and we have two major airlines that operate there. We have Jambojet and we have Kenya Airways. Now, with these two airlines, they are not the only ones that we have who do domestic, because we have another terminal called Terminal 2. And Terminal 2 also, you are able to connect to other airports within the region, where we, like if you want to go to, let's say, just within the region, like within Africa, you will find many airlines like Freedom Air, African Express, Dalo Airlines. You will also find UNI has flights. These are the flights that deals with the United Nations missions, among many other flights. Now we have a cargo terminal. Now the cargo terminal, we have different airlines that operate there, and some of those airlines are Astro Aviation. We have Air France, we have Emirates, we have Lufthansa Cargo. So in case you need to transport your cargo, you're well covered. Maybe we can go to the next slide. Okay. Now, for Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, being the hub here in Africa, you will find our airport is quite big, and we are intending to make it even bigger, and we are having initiatives where we want to build a new terminal so that we can be able to cater for more passengers, because each and every day we are getting new airlines and also new routes. For Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, the runway is 4.1 kilometers long, so meaning that we are able to handle very big aircraft like 777. So it's quite big. For the taxiways, we have 12 of them. For the aprons, we have 3 aprons. We have, just like I told you, we have different terminals just to decongest and to ensure that our passengers get best experience. And even with this, as you can see the numbers, you can see like Terminal 1A, it has a capacity of 2.5 million passengers. And in the year 2022-2023, we were able to handle 2.6, meaning that we already past the maximum. You see like Terminal 1B, the capacity is 1 million passengers. At that time last year, we were doing at 563,000 passengers. T1C, the capacity is 1 million. We are almost busting that. We already, last year we were doing 819,000, meaning by now we are already busting that. So that is why we are saying we are already in discussion of how to enlarge and enhance the passenger passenger connectivity and also to increase our capacity. Maybe we can go ahead. For the fire stations, because of the emergency response and to ensure that our passengers are safe, we have enough capacity. We have 2 fire stations with three response firefighting equipments. Now, in terms of capacity, for our lounges, for the comfort of our passengers and as they transit and also as they pass through our airports, we have 16 lounges. We have a state pavilion where we host the presidents who pass through our airports, and actually each and every week we host several presidents, so it is quite a busy lounge. We also have other government lounges within the terminals. We have 7 of them, and now for the airlines, we also have 8 lounges for the private airlines. Sometimes they partner with others so that more passengers can use their facilities. And at this point, we're also thinking of coming up with CIP lounges, that is the commercially important persons lounges, so that we can enhance and we can ensure that all our passengers are taken care of, especially those who require premium facilities and they are ready to pay so that they can be facilitated even faster. Now, for the car parks, we have enough parking lots for our passengers, because you will find our high traffic time is very early morning or late in the evening. During the day, yeah, the traffic is there, but the prime peak time is very early morning from 4 o'clock all the way to 8 to 7 o'clock, and then from 7 p.m. all the way to 2300 hours, or say midnight. So those are the times that we are really full to the capacity. However, our car parks are also efficient. Now, for some important information about the parking, and especially for the passengers who arrive and they need to get to other airports, maybe to connect to go to for their holiday destinations, you will find that we have transportation, especially our transportation here in Kenya. You will find we have uniformed taxis, and our uniform taxis are yellow taxis. They are yellow and they are very promiscuous. Like, you can see them. You're able to see once you get to the arrival terminals. You're able to see them. We also have Uber. We also have Taxify. Now, once you arrive in Kenya, you just need to download some of these apps, or some of these applications, so that you are able to access these services. And we have Wi-Fi at the airport, both at the arriving side and also departing side. So it is easy to access your internet, and you're able to access your mails, you're able to access the applications that you may need. And also you're able to access, in case you need for direction, like Google Apps, so you are able to know where you are. We can go to the next slide, kindly. Yeah, just like I said, we have two local airlines at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. But now, if you go to the other airports, like you go to Mombasa, you go to Kisumu, Eldoret, you will find the different airlines doing different routes. So this time around, we're talking about Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, and we have 42 international airlines. So in terms of connectivity, our passengers are very well taken care of, and you will find we have over 200 routes that we are doing from Nairobi. Nairobi being the capital city of Kenya. Now, for the freighters, all the airlines that are doing flight. We have 17 flights. We also have ground handling agents, and we have various. We have Kenya Airways. Mostly they handle their aircrafts. And like we have said that Kenya Airways is one of our major airline, and they have so many aircraft, and that is why they have a whole terminal. Terminal 1A, we only have Kenya Airways flights operating from there. For Terminal 1B, C, you will find all the other aircrafts operating from those terminals. We have Swissport as a ground handler, we have Kenya Aerotech, we have Tradewinds, we have Eurocraft, and we have AFS. All those are the ground handling agents. We have government agencies, and with these government agencies, they have very key, prominent, but different roles in ensuring efficiency and connectivity of our passengers. So you will find we have Kenya Airport Police Unit. That is a security agency. We have immigration, we have customs, we have port health, we have the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, KCA, that is the oversight. Because with aviation is highly regulated, so you will find there are so many regulations that are required for the aerodrome operator together with the airlines that are operating in that aerodrome. So we have Kenya Civil Aviation, who are the regulators. We have meteorological department. We have Frontier. Frontier is one of the security agencies. We have KEFIS. KEFIS is the agency that checks on the plants and also any seeds that are coming to our country or getting out of our country. We have Kenya Defense Force, among many others. Now, the service providers that we have, just like I told you, we have taxis, and we ensure the taxis, they are well regulated. We have policies, and they are regulated by Kenya Airports Authority. We also have banks and forex bureaus where you are able to change currency, and also the banks and the forex bureaus, they are regulated, so they give services that are of quality. We have the restaurants, we have the retail in terms of the duty-free shops that you will find here. We have parkings, in-flight catering, that is the companies that deal with the catering for the flights. We have duty-free shops, fuel marketers, public transport, and also the people who help us keep the airports clean. Now, of interest, we can go to the next slide, kindly. Of interest today, because if we talked about all the agencies that are present in our airports, we might talk the whole day. Actually, I might take more time talking about now the agencies and their roles. But for today's webinar, we are going to talk about immigration in a nutshell. And the reason I'm going to do it in a nutshell is because by the end of the webinar, I should be able to give you some links or some websites where you are able to go and get all the information, because the information is a lot, especially when it comes to what is required when you're coming to Kenya or you're traveling out of Kenya. So I will give you some links. Now, for immigration, recently, through the Ministry of Migration and Ministry of Transport and also Ministry of Defense, we launched electronic travel authorization, which is called ETA. And for now, as we've been monitoring, it is doing quite well. And even before I came for this webinar, I was in a meeting where the airlines and the stakeholders, we were discussing on ways how to make this ETA work even better, the challenges that we are facing, or rather our customers are facing, and how we need to even improve on it. Now, for all the passengers who are traveling to Kenya, it is mandatory for you to fill the ETA before you travel. And the ETA is a semi-electronic automated system. It is just used to determine the eligibility of the visitors. It gives a lot of information in terms of what you will feed as the passenger who is traveling, and you're required to fill all the areas so that by the time you're getting to Kenya, we already know. We already have some of the information that will be really relevant or important to allow you to get into Kenya. Now, it is advisable that once you want to travel, you submit your application at least 2 weeks prior to your travel, because the processing takes about 3 days. The processing, sometimes you can even finish and submit, and it is acted upon immediately. But because of the high numbers of the applications that are processed, you will find it is important to apply well in advance, such that you will not have hurdles when you get to Kenya. Let us go to the next slide. Yeah, some of the persons who are exempted to fill the ETA, if you have a valid Kenyan passport, or you are a Kenyan permanent resident and you have a valid work permit, if you are a holder of valid UN conventional travel documents, if you are a member of diplomatic mission, and also if you are a citizen of East African partner states, you are exempted. Now, we can go on. Yeah. For the ETA, we have a lot of information that you would get if you logged in. If you logged in into the website for immigration, you go to www.etakenya.go.ke/en. You will be able to get a lot of information. The same in the same breath, if you have an urgent query, maybe you're traveling and you are at the airport and now you feel like you're stuck, it is possible to chat with the immigration team, and from what we are getting from our passengers, some experience delays, but also we are in communication with the immigration to ensure that they enhance the service response time. You can also send your email to etakenya@immigration.go.ke. And if you have any complaint you feel you are sending and nobody is responding to you, you can always talk to us at kaa.go.ke. So if you have any concerns about anything to do with airport, your travel experience, maybe you have lost some properties when you're traveling, or you had a bad experience, you can always talk to us. Now, there's a website I would like to give you. The website is www.kaa.go.ke. www.kaa.go.ke. Now, if you log in into that website, it is Kenya Airports Authority's website. And in the website, you are able to get important contacts. Actually, if you can even log in right now as we are having this webinar. If you log into it, you will find, if you go to our airports and our contacts, you will find the quick links. Now, with the quick links, you will find the KEFI's website. You will find KEFI's. We said these are the agencies who deal with the plants and the seeds and any plants that come in or get out of the country. You will find the Kenya Revenue Authority website, you will also find the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. And for Kenya Civil Aviation Authority, it is very important, especially when you're traveling to Kenya, to ensure you find the regulations that are required. For instance, maybe you're coming to visit Masai Mara and you want to take a lot of photos, and you decide to come with a drone. The drones are regulated, so you need to get some forms to declare you're coming with a drone. And also they will give you the processes and the procedures of applying. So it is important to log in into the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority website, because on many occasions I have seen people coming with drones, coming with cameras, coming with a lot of good things with good intentions, but they are stopped at the Kenya Revenue Authority because they have not followed the regulations that are required. So as you travel, kindly make sure you log into the websites so that you can get the important information that you require, so that by the time you get to Kenya, you will not get a very bad experience just because you did not follow the regulations or you did not know. We also have the Directorate of Immigration Services. Now that is where you will find everything to do with ETA, when to apply, how to apply for a child, for infants. You will get all the information there. And also anything to do with e-visa. So I want to end my presentation there. And if you have any questions or comments, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
very much, Grace. Sorry, there are actually a few questions. I just read them out quickly. Could you please explain the new community fee? And is it still possible to apply for an East Africa visa when Kenya is the first destination, or did it change after the ETA was implemented?
Sorry, just say again.
First question is it still possible to apply for an East Africa visa when Kenya is the first destination, or did it change after the ETA was implemented?
Is it possible to apply for ETA when you are already?
So the question was if it is possible to apply for an East Africa visa when Kenya is the first destination, or if something's changed due to the ETA that was implemented.
No. It is possible to apply. All you need to do, you apply, and if you have any concern or any questions, you just send a mail to the immigration, and they respond very fast. But it is possible to apply.
Okay, great. Thank you, Grace. And I think the community fee that goes to Mali, probably for, because she mentioned the park fees that they're distributed also for the community. So if you could explain the community fees a bit.
Okay. So the community fee, I think that people are asking, I don't know if it's the same one, but majority of, say, for example, the park fees, it's going to be distributed into our welfare. But the community fee that I think you're asking, there are some hotels that have been charging, or camps and lodges are charging an extra community fee to an agent. Now, what they're doing is they're charging you instead of having it as part of the rate, because if you have a camp or a lodge in Masai Mara, you need to pay the county, the bed night fee. So on the bed night fee, normally we'd have, $80, for example, for one person. So $40 goes to the county, and then $40 goes to the community. So that's the community fee. So, but since we enforced this, because it was not enforced and some camps were under declaring their guest. So now we are trying to reconcile who lands, where they're going. So because we've been strict with that enforcement, they've added that fee on the guest instead of within the package. So for example, if the camp is supposed to be $500 a night, that $80 should have been part of that $500 instead of imposing it on the guest, because it's actually the facility that should be paying the said fees. I hope that's a bit clear.
Yes, thank you very much. And I have another question for you, Mali. Will the prices for Masai Mara also be $100 in green season 25 and $200 in high season 25?
Yes, it remains so. It's that's the gazetted fee.
Okay.
Yes.
Es wurden einige Fragen auch schon beantwortet, so there were questions already answered. I will copy those and we can send them through the answers with the follow-up of this webinar instead of reading everything out loud now. I think that's better. Over to you, Asa.
Ja, dann bedanke ich mich für die bei den Zuhörern, dass sie so lange durchgehalten haben, zumindest zu einem großen Teil. Es waren ja sehr viele Informationen. Wir werden das dann auch wieder auf YouTube hochladen und vielleicht macht es auch Sinn, dass wir die Präsentation direkt mitschicken im Follow-up, damit, weil es doch sehr viel war, dann kann man sich das raussuchen, was man gerade braucht, ne? So machen wir das und wir sehen uns ansonsten dann bald wieder zu einem Kenia-Webinar am 24. Juli. Da sind dann halt, das ist das normale ASA-Webinar, da nehmen dann halt Reiseveranstalter und auch Produkte teil. Das ist auch eine kleine Information von KTB, wird es auch geben. Und da freuen wir uns, wenn ihr wieder dabei seid. Dann verabschieden wir uns.
Ja, ich danke auch nochmal dem ASA-Team vielmals für die Zeit. And thank you very much to all the presenters from Kenya for explaining the situation in Kenya. And yes, have a good afternoon or yeah, not evening yet. Thank you so much. And
Thank you and you're welcome.
yes, and thank you,
Thank
Asa.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you for this.
So, ich mache dann aus. Ciao.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.